governance is an ideal which is difficult to achieve in its totality. For the implementation of rigorous corporate governance code, companies and institutions must come together regionally and internationally to draft corresponding guidelines. The problem might come in many aspects and type. So here, type of problem that might be faced by the companies.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nazahira binti Cik Supli Elais Abdul Rahman. My trade number 1624696. Today I will be representing to you guys about the issue regarding financial reporting and auditing in corporate governance. It is really crucial for the corporate governance because with this information we can monitor the performance of the manager. Okay, but there is some problem. First one is that when the financial reporting and auditing give false information to the manager, it will be a really bad one for them because they can use it effectively. Okay. So there is our current account practice have allowed several ways of method of measurement. Criteria for recognition and definition of accounting entity is that we call it as creative accounting. But the problem is creative accounting is that they only focus on earning per share and gearing ratio only. They got a problem. Their problem is they impose extra cost on the user and expose non-disclosure information. It is bad when there is some information that we want to keep just for our company. Their techniques are varied. They include off-balance sheet financing, the use of complex capital instrument, and also several different aspects of accounting for merger and acquisition. There is someone who are not really familiar with the system, so the user will have problem to process it and also unable to practice due to the high cost. Okay, they come idea, they want to enforce law by using self-regulatory body. The self-regulatory body is that when they want to enforce the law, they must have monopoly power in order for that to be effective. But there is two means for it to be effective. One is professional discipline. Second is by legal backing. Professional discipline is that the company must have the discipline for themselves to enforce the law and they must follow what the law wants. The legal backing is that we ask the government to back our regulation and support our regulation. Okay, we can conclude is that self-regulatory body is just an evolution of regulation. In order to prevent the free riders to exploit good reputation built up by those who conform with the regulation. Because we don't want the free rider to just have good reputation but they have not. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. I'll pass to my colleague.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Fatin and I will discuss with you about the second issue in corporate governance which is the director's remuneration. So, director's remuneration is basically the payment made for service or employment of directors on the board of the company and corporation. This includes the basic salary and other monetary and also non-monetary benefits that an executive receives during his or her tenure. Now, what kind of issue that can be raised from director's remuneration? First issue that I would like to highlight here is the issue of disclosure of directors' remuneration in the annual report and account. According to Malaysian Code of Corporate Governance, or known as MCCG, companies are required to disclose aggregate figure of remuneration of executive with categorization that include executive fees, salaries, bonuses, commissions, compensation for loss of office, benefits in kind based on an estimated money value, distinguish between independent and also non-independent directors, and also many other categories. This disclosure requirement is important to recognize and also promotes the important principle of fairness and accountability. But the disclosure of director's remuneration is not mandatory, and a study in UK have found that some companies in UK had against this disclosure of directors' remuneration for some reasons, like shareholder and analysts are already overwhelmed or known with the detail in the annual report and accounts. They also said that shareholders have right to see directors' service contract and can therefore access such information. So they think why they need to disclose the director's remuneration even more. Okay, the second issue that I would like to highlight here is the issue of director's remuneration is linked with the performance of the company, especially when the company is under financial distress. Good and sound corporate governance should constrain excessive payments being made to directors, and remuneration should be largely determined by firms' performance. However, research found that profitability of company is not an important factor in determining directors' remuneration. Then, companies' growth also and size are important in deciding directors' remuneration, and the association is found to be positive. Lastly, board independence and non-executive directors' interests effectively constrain the level of directors' remuneration. So the last issue that I would like to explain here is the link between corporate governance and directors' remuneration can be explained by the agency theory, which we already know that agency theory is the relationship between management and shareholder. Here, the conflict of interest may arise due to agency relationship arising from separation of ownership from management is sometimes categorized as agency problem. One of the reasons is executives receive their salaries, bonuses and stock option, but in a different form from shareholders who receive dividends and capital gains. In this manner, the management will generally utilize their position to pay themselves excessive pay rates and other advantage. They will decide to keep profits rather than to spend as dividend in order to reduce financial risk. Where shareholders have different attitude for risk avoidance, as the result of the operation may influence their pay. For example, around diversification activities. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fatin Amira binti Abdul Rashid, mention number 1712866, and I will be presenting about the issues in corporate governance in regard of the company stakeholders relation. First, what is a stakeholder? According to Cambridge Dictionary, a stakeholder is a person such as an employee, customer, or a citizen who is involved with an organization or etc., and therefore has responsibilities towards it and interests in its success. Freeman, in his book titled Strategic Management: A Stakeholder Approach, explained that a stakeholder is any individual or group that can affect or be affected by the achievement of the organization's objectives. Next, who are the stakeholders? In general, there are 5 classifications of stakeholders, which are primary stakeholder, secondary stakeholder, non-social stakeholder, internal and external stakeholders, and political stakeholders. So, what is the issues involving stakeholders in corporate governance? The first issue in regard of stakeholders in the company's corporate governance is regarding the conflict of interest between the stakeholder and the shareholders. Shareholders and stakeholders have different interests, as shareholders have more interest in the company's financial rather than the company's management. Meanwhile, the stakeholders' interests are more in getting benefit from the company's achievement, such as getting bonus from the company from an employee's point of view, and getting the best price for the materials they supply in the supplier's point of view. The company might not be able to fulfill both the shareholder and stakeholder interests, thus might causing one of the party to be unhappy. Next is the communication problem between the stakeholders and the company. This issue arises when the companies have problem in maintaining an active communication with the stakeholders. Active communication means that the company constantly provides information about the stakeholders' interests to the stakeholders. The next issue regarding stakeholders are the failure to use the right approach to build relationship with stakeholders. Different stakeholders might need different approach on managing them. The company can find the right way to approach them by doing the stakeholders analysis. In order to identify stakeholders and the way to approach them, the company must take into consideration the three attributes which are power, legitimacy, and urgency. Last but not least is aligning values. Stakeholders needs to be constantly informed, and the company needs to make sure that the company's values and the stakeholders' values are constantly aligned.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Yuriza binti Asril, metric number 1717698. So I will be the last presenter to talk about the issues in corporate governance in information and communication. Communication plays a fundamental role in all aspects of business. Excellent business communication is crucial to maintain healthy workplace relation between employers and employees. While communication should be a priority for any organization, with the advancement of technology nowadays, there are few particular issues and challenges that both managers and staff need to overcome in order to make sure that lines of communication remain open and effective. The first issue that I would like to highlight is the lack of standards. When communication problem in the workplace lower standards, it is usually because you lack consistency on how and when employee communicate. It is a good idea to establish communication policy to standardize the method used for communication for both colleague and customers. Avoid relying too heavily for one type of communication. For example, using only verbal communications makes tracking conversation and information difficult. There are some companies that do not take time to plan out their IT strategy. Businesses make mistake by thinking of technology as get out of jail free card for a business mistake, but it is not. Information technology can be force multiplier for your business, saving money, making your employee more productive, and allowing you to attract more customers. Information technology is not a business plan, but it is support for a business plan. Using old IT system is not a good idea. When you use latest system, you might encounter problems such as lacking, and this problem also will lead to problem in delaying your work. Some old systems sometimes do not support new form of file. Employee might not get the new infos, and once they get the infos, it will lead to another problem, which is information overload. Between personal and business communication, it seems as if there's constant unlock, and the only reasonable solution is to disengage. Employees who have the pressing deadlines will ignore texts and call, and they might not read the email. Important message about meeting, statistics are sent but not seen. The next issue is the difference in leadership style. There is no right or wrong in the way of leading a company because there are several leadership styles. Communication in the office can go awry when companies fail to recognize different kinds of leader. Also, different background and experiences cause barrier between some colleagues. without some common ground, employees might find relating to or understand what other staff members are talking about difficult. This is related with the skills that employees have to deal with the advancement of technology. Employees need training to handle and use with the technologies, because untrained employees could cause a big problem such as unbackup data, scam, being hacked, cloud confusion, installing illegal software, and many more. I think that's all from me. That's all from our group. Thank you.